Sports fans, PBnZ Sports Chaos. It's NFL Draft Week. We got our mock draft coming up here momentarily. First, a little shout out. We're powered tonight by Bentwater Brew up in Lynn. We've done some live shows up there in the past, right, PB?
Yeah, we love that place. A little shout out to Bentwater Brewing. A shout out to Robin, who takes care of all their social media. And tonight we have the Thunder Funk, the IPA. It's one of my favorites. Love this. I'm so glad I was able to get it down here in South Florida. She hooked me up and told me where I could find some. And I certainly picked it up, and we're going to feature them tonight, all night.
Nice. I love it. I love it. Hey, by the way, PB, your Stanley Cup favorites got blown out last night by the Boston Bruins, 4-2 in a game that was not even that close. I watched it. It should have been like 9-2. So good luck, Florida, in the Stanley Cup playoffs. They're going to start next week. We'll talk about that later on in the week.
Yeah, I watched it.
Let's do our picks for the NFL 2022 draft. As we did last year, PB and I are going to do our mock draft. We're going to go even odds. I won the coin flip. I get to do the odds, which means I get the proverbial number one pick in the draft, going to the bottom dwellers of the NFL, the Jacksonville Jaguars, second year in a row. Not an easy pick this year. Last year was much easier for them. This year, they're sweating it out. A lot of people are talking about a couple different people, but a guy that's been on the board for a while now, I'm taking defensive end Aiden Hutchinson from Michigan.
All right. I think he's the consensus number one. Then there's a lot of talent after that, really. The next, 4, 5, 6 picks actually could really be in any order here, trying to figure out the best fit. And for Detroit, I think they have what they want on offense. If they really believe in what they have with Goff, I think DeAndre Swift is a fine back, probably top 10. He could even emerge into a top 5 back. And I like what I saw Amon St. Brown last year too. So I think they have some offensive pieces in place there. Of course, they drafted Penei Sewell last year to boost that offensive line as well. So I don't think they'll go offensive line here again. I think they're going to look at boosting that defense. And I think the best player on the board that'll fit into that system is Trayvon Walker. Out of Georgia, edge rusher.
Interesting pick. He's been a high flyer on the draft boards the last 2 weeks. Out of nowhere, a guy that only played 50% of the plays for Georgia's defense this year. So that's a risky pick. But he was a stud at the combines, 4.5 in the 40, right? I think he did 38 in the vertical leap. So he's a physical freak. Good pick there. All right, I'm going with Derek Stingley, number 3 for Houston Texans, quarterback. 3 years ago, 2019, if he came out then when he was a freshman, he was the number 1 corner. He's been hurt. A lot of people say the injuries scare them, but he is the number 1 cornerback, probably defensive back in the entire draft. So I'm going with him.
All right. I like that. And then at 4, we have the Jets. All right. So the Jets now, they made an investment last year with Zach Wilson. They also drafted Michael Carter. They have Elijah Moore at receiver. They have Anthony Becton on the offensive line. I think this team, while many might say, hey, they need to do something with their defense, and there is some good edge guys here, I think they're really going to give Zach Wilson a real chance to succeed. And in order to do that, they got to keep him upright. They got to allow them to run the football when they need to run the football. I think there's a ton of talent in Ike Ekwonu, offensive tackle out of North Carolina State, that they could take at this point in time. So that's who I'm going to go with at number 4.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Everybody had him projected there. I like that too. I'm staying on the offensive line. The other New York team who needs a lot of help just as much as those Jets do, the Giants at number 5. I got them staying on the O-line. I got them going with the beast from Alabama, Evan Neal, offensive tackle.
That's a great pick. And, I was in between those two with the Jets, which now takes me to 6. And I had Evan Neal for the Carolina Panthers at number 6 for some of the same reasons, right? They made an investment last year by acquiring Sam Darnold. You got a potential healthy Christian McCaffrey going into this year, DJ Moore. So what they really need is that offensive line to improve that running game and also, again, keep Darnold upright and give him a chance. So I would love to take a tackle here. And I know there's some talent at edge and other positions we haven't taken yet, but to really fill that need, because these tackles are going off the board, these offensive linemen, I got to take Charles Cross out of Mississippi State, another offensive lineman at number 6 to Carolina.
Ooh, that's a little bit of a stretch. He was a late teener, they said. All right, we'll see what happens there.
I had him low on my draft board, but he's my highest ranked offensive tackle because Iguana and Nail are off the board already.
See, that's where I might have traded down from them. All right, I got the Giants. They need some defensive help as well. I'm going to take the second best, although many people think he's the first best cornerback, Ahmed Gardner, Sauce Gardner from Cincinnati.
That's a great pick. So that takes to number 8, which is the Atlanta Falcons. And I thought here that a receiver would be a good play for them. Someone like a Julio Jones type player that could come into that system and give Mariota, who's now there, a decent chance to have a good target besides, Kyle Pitts. I'm not, but because there's still a guy on the board that I thought was going to be off by now, an edge rusher out of Oregon. So I'm going to go with Thibodeau here. Kayvon Thibodeau as an edge rusher to Atlanta at number 8.
That's a good one. By the way, all year until probably about the midpoint of the season, he was the consensus number 1 pick. Then he got banged up a little bit, and then people were not as high on him, even though he didn't play bad at all once he came back. So I'm a little surprised. That's a great pick. I like staying on the defensive side of the ball for the Seattle Seahawks, Kyle Hamilton, the safety from Notre Dame.
Wow, that's a good one. Number 10, back to the Jets. I think this is where the Jets might make a move. I know there's been some talk that they might go after Debo. I don't think if Debo wants to win and win now, I don't think the Jets is the right place for him to go. But that's where he may land if all the pieces fall into place. So they may make a move here for them. I'm going to say they keep the pick, though. And I still think that receiver is a good option for them because they've already got Nick Wanu at number 4. And the best receiver on the board for them that fits into their system, I believe, is Garrett Wilson, wide receiver out of Ohio State.
Ooh, okay. All right. I had a receiver there as well, but it wasn't Garrett. But that's a good pick. I like it. I got number 11 for the Commanders. Are you going to get used to ever saying that, PB? I'm never. I got a cornerback out of Washington, not out of the D.C. Washington, but out of the West Coast Washington, Trent McDuffie.
That's a good pick. A little higher than I was expecting him to go, but that's a good pick. So that takes to number 12, Minnesota. Minnesota's always trying to improve their defense through the draft. I believe it was either last year or the year before, 7 of their 8 draft picks with defensive players. Obviously, they haven't done a real good job at it, but they don't really need to focus on that offense. Kirk Cousins has obviously established himself there. And when you're talking about Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook, that could be the best wide receiver 1, running back 1 combination in the entire NFL. So I think really what they need to focus on here is defense. I had Gardner as my number 1 pick if he was still around. I had Stingley up there. I even had Kyle Hamilton. So since those 3 guys are off the board, next best edge rusher talent-wise is Jermaine Johnson out of Florida State. So that's what I'm going to have going to Minnesota at number 12.
Nice. He came on really strong this year, ACC Defensive Player of the Year. So that's a good pick. I'm going to go Trevor Penning, offensive line at number 13.
And that's to
the Houston Texans, who need everything. Texans.
All right. And would you take it 5 for them? Or you took Gardner?
At 3, I took the cornerback, Derek Stingley.
Oh, you took Stingley. Okay. And all right. All right. That's good. That's a good play. That's a good play. So for me at number 14, I had guys like Stingley, McDuffie, Jermaine Johnson, all possible going to Baltimore since they're off the board. Jordan Davis, defensive lineman out of Georgia.
Nice. That's a good pick. That's a Baltimore Raven pick.
Exactly.
All right. I got the Eagles up next. We got Chris Olave, wide receiver, Ohio State.
Oh. Who was that for? Oh, wait. No. Wait. No, I get Philly.
Oh, you're Philly. I'm sorry.
I get Philly. And actually, that's who I had them taking. Chris Olave.
You got Olave. All right. Good move there. I'm going to have to go with the other stud. He's injured. He got hurt, tore his ACL in the SEC championship. But I got Jameson Williams. When he comes back for the Saints, is going to help make Jameis Winston look good. The two Jamesons. Well, James and Jameson, I should say.
Yeah. All right. I like that pick. So a couple of Steve is now starting to get off the board. And then it's going to give you 17 as well.
I got the Chargers taking Zion Johnson, the stud out of Boston College at guard. They're going to strengthen their offensive line for Justin.
Good pick. He was my guy at number. I was going to take him at number later on. I was hoping to get him for Green Bay. All right. So that's a little early for him, but I can see why for sure. Okay, that takes me back to Philly again. Their second pick in 3 because they had the 15th pick where they took Chris Olave. So now 18, going after that edge, next best edge guy, I think on the board here, rusher, is George Kalafdis out of Purdue.
The Greek freak.
Yep.
Nice. All right, are you ready for 19?
19, you're back to the Saints again. Your Saints second pick here in 3 picks.
All right, I got a little shock. The Saints, I think we're going to make a trade here. I got a feeling. However, if they keep the pick, they're going to take Kenny Pickett.
Interesting. They say Kenny Pickett is the most NFL-ready quarterback.
Yep.
But from an athleticism standpoint, obviously, doesn't have the same caliber as like a Malik Willis. That's an interesting pick. And at 20 for Pittsburgh, I had them standing pat and waiting for a quarterback. And we have not seen a quarterback come off the board in the PBnZ mock draft yet until just now. So Pittsburgh might be a little nervous about New Orleans picking and might try to trade up into that one of those New Orleans picks to maybe grab Kenny Pickett because I think they like what he brings to the table, especially considering that he was right there in Pitt in his college years.
Yep.
So, but because you just took him with the Saints, that is going to now leave Pittsburgh with Malik Willis as their pick at number 20.
Ooh,
so we go back-to-back quarterbacks at 19 and 20 there.
A lot of people like that pick. A lot of people had that as a potential pick for Pittsburgh. So I think you're right on the money with that. All right. Pittsburgh was 20. The Pats are 21. Once again, Bill Belichick does a little bit of a surprise. He goes a little deeper than he probably needed to here, but I'm going to go Andrew Booth from Clemson, the cornerback.
All right. Number 22, Green Bay. Green Bay is going to be very happy here at number 22 because there are basically your top 4 receivers, I think, in this draft are Olave, Garrett Wilson, Jameson Williams, and Drake London. And all 3, the 3 before that, they're all gone, and they've gone a little bit higher. So for Drake London, who some people have as even a number 2 potential receiver in this draft, to slide all the way to 22, Green Bay typically not taking wide receivers. I think it's been 20 years since they've taken a wide receiver in the first round, but they break that mold this year with the loss of Devontae Adams and also knowing that they have the 28th pick right behind it. So Drake London goes to Green Bay at number 22.
Ooh, all right. Staying with a wide receiver, I got the Cardinals taking Jahan Dotson from Penn State.
Good one. All right. He's been moving up the draft board in a lot of people's eyes. He's got that kind of that Tyreek Hill type build and speed, right? Small kid, like 5'10" and a half or something like that. But he can fly. Good. That's a good one. Gets good separation too. All right, so that takes me to 24, Dallas. I don't think there's any question here that Dallas needs to improve their offensive line. I did have Penning as their potential pick in this spot out of Northern Iowa, but you took him pretty high. You got him up there pretty high in the draft, so he came off the board. I also was considering, Johnson from BC as well here, but he's off the board. So I'm going to go Kenyon Green, guard, offensive tackle, guard, out of Texas A&M.
Ooh, all right. Tampa Bay, number 27. All right, I'm up in the air.
You're 25.
Oh, I'm sorry. Breece Hall Easy pick here. They need a running back in Buffalo. So Buffalo takes Breece Hall, the best running back in the draft.
Okay. Do you like it better than Kenny Walker the third?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Okay, and that takes us to 26 with Tennessee. This is an interesting pick here for Tennessee. They've really had great tight ends in their system, and they might look at a Trey McBride here, considering he's the best tight end in the draft this year, still sitting around at 26. But I think they also need to look at their future at quarterback. I don't think Tannehill's a Super Bowl caliber quarterback, number one. And number two, I'm not sure how much he's going to give you in the coming years. So I think there's an opportunity here to develop a quarterback, get him under Tannehill for a couple of years. And I think that would be Desmond Ridder. So I think at 26, they take Desmond Ridder, quarterback out of Cincinnati.
Ooh, that's a real stretch. I don't see it happen, but okay. Tampa Bay at 27 need help on both sides of the ball. Big boys. I think they're going to go Devontae Wyatt, big defensive tackle from Georgia.
All right. And that takes me to 28. Also, now that, Green Bay did get their receiver at 22, look to bolster that offensive line, give Rodgers the protection he needs, and also open up that running game for Jones and for Dillon. And I think they can do that with Trevor Smith out of Tulsa.
Okay.
It's another offensive lineman.
Ooh, nice. All right, Kansas City at 29. This is a guy who should have went to the pass, but of course, Bill Belichick never does the right thing in my mind in the first round. Devin Lloyd, the stud linebacker from Utah, goes to Kansas City here.
Okay, and we're going to pick, since Kansas City has the 29th and 30th pick, we're both going to pick 2 picks for them. So what you picked the 29th as him, the linebacker. Yep. I'm going to pick the 29th pick for Kansas City as well, and say that they'll go after Daxton Hall, safety out of Michigan, at that spot.
Ooh, okay. All right. Everybody says they need another wide receiver. I don't think they need a wide receiver right away. This guy will be back probably in November. John Mechie, another wide receiver from Alabama. I think by November, he'll fit right in at that point in time. And by the way, Josh Gordon will probably be on suspension by then anyway. So there you go.
Yeah, and I think there's they definitely go for a receiver here too, for the same reasons that Green Bay did, right? They lost Tyreek Hill, one of the better receivers in the league. So I don't have Mechie, though. I think Mechie's going to follow second. I think Pickens. Did you already take Traylon Burks?
No.
No? Maybe Traylon Burks then.
Yeah, he would be a good pick there.
I think I had Pickens, but you know what? I didn't realize Traylon Burks was still on the board. So I'm going to go with Traylon Burks actually as their pick at number 30 out of Arkansas.
All right, real quick, because we're coming up on the end of the hour here. I got Logan Hall at number 31 DN. I was looking at the Penn State kid, Arnold Abiki, but I like Logan Hall just a tad more from what I've read and seen about him.
Like it. And look for the last pick in the first round goes to Detroit. They did draft second as well. Look for them potentially to trade out of this pick. But if they stick with it, David Ojabu, edge rusher, playing opposite Aiden Hutchinson, the number 1 pick overall. So you got the first pick in the draft and the last pick in the first round being both edge guys from Michigan, and David Ojabu goes in that one.
I got something for you. If your pick with Desmond Ridder earlier doesn't happen before this is where he goes at 32.
Yes, or right. They could. I mean, you still got Howell still on the board too, right? And Matt Corral still on the board. A couple other, Carson Strong still on the board. There's some other guys people might go after.
For whatever reason you had Desmond Ridder earlier, if he doesn't get picked, this is where he gets picked.
Yeah, maybe. And they might not even be with Detroit. Detroit still might trade out of that pick, and maybe Seattle or somebody tries to trade up into that 32 pick to get one of those quarterbacks.